Have you ever watched a TV series or a movie that makes you this stressed, as stressed as this llama? See if I can get his face right. There you go. Imagine being that stressed where your whole neck just kind of goes up and out like you're about to explode. That's kind of what I experienced watching this. So I'm going to talk about Weak Hero, which Netflix now has the exclusive rights to. Even though it says it's 2025, that season 2 or class 2 of Weak Hero is coming later this year between April and June. But I'm going to be talking about the first season because it hasn't been available for streaming in the UK or the US as of yet. And this is the first time that people in my side of the globe are being able to watch it. So let's jump in and talk about Weak Hero. Yeon Shi-eun is a model student who ranks at the top at his school. Physically, he appears like a weak boy, but by using his smarts, tools, and psychology, he fights against violence that takes place inside and outside his school. My wife watched a little bit of this series with me, and she couldn't handle it. She wanted the bullies to be destroyed or killed or worse because of the consistency of the bullying that occurs within this storyline. And I do have to say, the amount of Korean dramas that I've seen that depict bullying at this level, it makes me really think that there is bullying in most places around the world, but this seems to be like a real pandemic of bullying that just needs to be addressed somewhat. So I'd love to know if you've experienced or know of in South Korea that bullying is like this, or is it just a drama trope that writers like to put in the Korean dramas? TV is often a reflection of what's going on in that place. So you take what you know, good writers at least take what you know, what is reality, and then skewer it to, skew it to what your story needs it to be. So I feel like there's an authenticity of, or a little bit, authentic truth to the drama here within. And from the get-go, if you're affected by bullying, but not just bullying, systemic, institutionalized bullying that works its way out throughout the schooling system to the teachers that don't really do anything about it, to the bullying that there are people that think they are better than other humans and nobody does anything about it because that would put them in the spotlight, then I think you're going to find this particularly hard to watch. However, there are moments of light in this series, which I think if it continued to be this dark and gloomy series that is just like relentless, then most people would switch off. But there are moments where you get to breathe, where the writers allow you to go, okay, let's step back, give them maybe a breather, something good. But there's a lot of relentless depression and bullying. Thankfully, we have three main protagonists that are, you have one transfer, a student that has been bullied before and he has a dark past himself. We have the main protagonist, which is the guy that we follow for the most part, that is, for all intents and purposes, he is like the study geek. But he's also really smart, so the way he calculates when he's going to get into trouble, what he should do. He plays a psycho fighter really well, going from one moment of being calm and collected to an absolute psycho fighter in the next, which is really interesting to watch. It's tense to watch. And then we have the third, which is the sort of school delinquent, at least he's portrayed that way, where he doesn't really care too much about his studies, happens to be an ex-MMA fighter, almost went pro, but is working 2-3 jobs to just make ends meet and, help his family. So we have 8 episodes. They're about 40 minutes apiece. From the get-go, we are shown an instigating moment, and then it jumps back in time, and it plays with time in a way that shows us of things that happens a little bit along the way to our characters. We might see something happen, and then we'll jump back for a moment, and then we'll continue with, progressing this friendship that's not really friendship, but a group of trio that are forced almost to fend for each other. And so we get a real mix of a storyline here that hits emotionally in places that I was unexpecting it to go. There are these tropes when it comes to K-dramas that you get the drama of the relationship and you get the, oh, now it's all going to be okay. This one, because it allows us to breathe with the friendship of the trio that works so well, and acting brilliant by Park Ji-hoon and Choi Hoon-wook and Hong Kwan. I think they do such a fantastic job at drawing us into who they are as characters, real, authentic, written characters that you feel for them. So even when there is not this bullying going down, it is more about their life and how they're coping in between that. Their friendship that is upscaled, and when those friendships are tested or even broken, when there are harrowing moments that the show is not shy from showing, you care all the more for it. So this is a wild ride. I think it's filmed brilliantly. It looks really great. It has that tone that you would expect between the score that would give you, goosebumps in places to a happy-go-lucky upbeat for the other moments. Cinematography-wise, I think it's crafted in a way to make you experience the intensity of moments when they are heightened, that you just really want them to win out. But that's not the case in this series. Our good guys won't win all the time. They do sometimes manage to survive a situation, but it continues. And when you think you've thought everything was going to be safe and fine, it throws something else in there. You do kind of get used to the pacing and what the story is going to do with each episode. You can kind of see some of the mysteries that are expelled, but that's not to say that you're not interested in watching it. Because you're so invested in the characters, of how they're portrayed, because you are rooting for the underdog, the weak guy that is being bullied, the guy that has been bullied and had to transfer from one school to another, the MMA guy that is sort of their only chance for surviving. Together, the three have this survivability that I think is endearing. The ride is worth watching, but I will say this, that there's an ending that I'm not sure I'm satisfied with, but it does leave it open for Class 2, which I believe is coming anywhere between April and June. So the 8 episodes are well acted, it's well crafted. You do have to concentrate. You can't just, skim on your phone. It's not one of those, because it's quite dialogue heavy, and there are moments of real character depth, and not preaching moments, but moments where it's trying to show you something about what's happening in this particular school and the message behind that. And in order for you to get all of that, you kind of have to read, because I always suggest watching the original language and reading subtitles if it's not your original language, because you get those real great acting moments. The voice actors in the dubbing do a fine job, but you will miss something out. So I'm not a purist on when it comes to subtitles. I just think you get a better experience. So all in all, this was a great find. I can't wait for other people to find this and, maybe get ready for that second season, see where that's going to go. I think when it comes to the fighting, it feels very real. It looks great. It's intense. When it comes to the scripting and dialogue, it feels authentic to what actually happens. There's an air of authenticity that I think has taken pains and stakes and time to really get down to what the story wants to be, but at the same time doesn't let up when it needs to. There are some series of movies which take this sort of genre. It takes this sort of message that you're trying to get across and often let up at the wrong moments. I think the editing and pacing of this hankers down, doubles down in moments where it really makes you feel uncomfortable and sad for what's going on. And then maybe you'll get 2 or 3 minutes to breathe and get back into it. So take this with a pinch of salt. Like, if you are easily affected by emotional bullying and physical bullying, then I think you will be triggered by this. Other than that, I thought it was a wild ride. Really well done. I can't wait to see season 2. I'm going to give this a solid 4.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one.
Thanks so much for watching. Have you seen this? Are you going to venture onto Netflix and have a go at this, or stream it elsewhere? I don't know that it is anywhere else, because I think Netflix now have the exclusive rights to it. Love to hear your thoughts. What is your favorite current K-drama that nobody is talking about? Drop your comments down below. I would love to know what other K-dramas I should be reviewing, or at least watching. But most of all, till next time, remember, love along on Tuesday.